Former tax inspector Diomaye Faye defeated former Prime Minister Amadou Ba to be elected president of Senegal. Faye gained popularity after Ousmane Sonko, the opposition leader who was in prison with Faye and barred him from running, ultimately endorsed him. Faye was arrested last year on several charges, including contempt of court, because he made a social media post that was critical of the judicial system. Sonko was later arrested for inciting an insurrection. The two were released from prison on March 14th, just 10 days before the election. Yet they managed to run a successful presidential campaign. Can you imagine running a presidential campaign on 10 days? Notice now it helps that you're a political prisoner. It helps that you have the groundswell of the people. This ain't a normal 10-day presidential campaign. This is based on what has happened, including people being outraged that he had been incarcerated because of a social media post critical of the judicial system. Can you imagine me saying this judicial system is corrupt? And the judicial system says, you know what? Because you said that, we're going to lock you up. President Faye has promised to end corruption in the justice system. He's promised to change the game. In fact, he wants to bring about what he calls a radical overall change. He aims to renegotiate the country's gas contracts, also the country's oil contracts. He's going to introduce a new currency as well in Senegal and reform the economic community of West African states. And let me just add, this brother is 44 years old, making him the youngest president on the continent of Africa. This is a big deal as we talk about what's happening around the world. Certainly, we've been talking about the Middle East a lot. We don't want to ignore the continent of Africa. And we specifically don't want to ignore these West African countries where there's a lot of development, a lot of possibility, and a lot of contradictions like everywhere else. But we got to deal with this and celebrate this as an important development. You got somebody who's been riding a wave of judicial reform, somebody who has been saying and stressing the importance of redeveloping and reimagining the political landscape of Senegal. And it's happening right now. So those of us here on the west side of town in the Western Hemisphere, we have to support. First of all, we have to pay attention to what's happening in Africa. And second, we have to ultimately lend support to those forces, those movements, those people, those institutions that are operating in our best interests, in the best interests of the people, in the best interests of justice.